Folks, we're live. Well, for our one viewer who's watching us live, shout out to you, whoever you are. We are live. For the rest of you people who are acting like peasants and small folk for some reason today, you're watching this after the fact, listen to this after the fact, whichever way you want to go with that particular statement. But I thank you all for being here. I've decided to use, just for this particular show and for probably next week's full season wrap up, talk about next season show, I decided to use the music from, of course, my show, The Wrath of Ruthless. Next week I might use Triumph instead. Who knows? Shout out to the old school folks that know what Triumph's about. What can I say that has not been said by this season? We decided to go with the metal music because this particular last episode, really last two episodes, have been metal as fuck. I don't know how you feel about this, but like, I'm sitting there going like, I could write whole albums of crazed metal music to this, and I don't even write music. But I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to open up with some different stuff this time. I did thoroughly enjoy the last episodes. I don't know if I would go as far as some of the reviewers I pay attention to, beside myself, who were giving it perfect 10 out of 10s. There were definitely some issues in both episodes, but in general terms, I can say that this is confidently up there. I would say top 3 of the episode 9 and 10 combinations. No, I'll take that back. I would say it's probably the best 9 and 10 combination, and probably separately our top 3 episode 9, episode 10. What do you feel?
I think, yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. The entire season as a whole was like, wow, this is disappointing. But those last 2 episodes, those were good stuff.
Well, we did call it. We did say they're clearly not they're clearly not doing a lot of things and faking us out a lot to save the money they need for the Crazy Town episodes that would be episode 9. And then they go to episode 10 and like, hey, guess what? The crazy's not fucking over, assholes. Watch this shit.
When your show has too many characters, say no more.
But my thought was, honestly, my thought was that 9 and 10 had to be out of control because 8 was so calm. Like, I mean, let's be real here. Last season, episode 8 was Hard Home.
Yeah.
Like, Hard Home was nuts. So I was wondering, what are we going to get this season? What kind of a situation are we going to find ourselves in? And 9 and 10 didn't disappoint. I want to give them both plenty of time. I really don't want to. How do I say it? I don't want us to feel like because we're blending these two that we're getting some kind of like screwing over of the episode 9 epicness. So let's really kind of start there, folks. It is my fault that we did not get an episode 9 review up during the week of episode 9. A lot of stuff happened, and then I had to go out of town, and it was just impossible.
Yeah, that was an interesting fiasco on my end as well.
Yeah. So let's kind of start there. I mean, episode 9, we begin with what I thought honestly was one of the best of those point of view battle sequences that they had done since very early on. I don't know how you felt about that.
I think it was good to see like a big battle like that, because a lot of the times in the earlier seasons, what you would get is you'd get the ominous preparing for the battle, like Tyrion and the wild people. I can't remember what the hell they were called when they were about to have that whole battle.
Hill Tribes.
Yeah, the Hill Tribes. Like you get this build up to this battle that Tyrion's gonna lead, and then it just like cuts to black, and then it's the aftermath of the battle. Game of Thrones did a lot of that early on.
Well, and I'll give them credit. The Battle of Blackwater was just not anywhere near the level of what was going on in Marine. Like Marine really did say, "Hey, you know everything we've shown you so far? Fuck it."
Yeah. But I mean, it's just one of those things where obviously in the earlier seasons they didn't have as much resources available to them, so there were things that got left out. But you see, in later seasons, you started getting the freaking all-out battles and awesomeness. Except last season, I thought Stannis's charge was another like back to the whole anticlimactic battles.
Well, and because they did such a wide shot to kind of
Yeah,
mask the fact that they didn't have enough extras for that battle. And hey, I'm not knocking them for that because honestly, if they had properly done that particular battle, there would have been at least as many extras as was in the Battle of the Bastards, and that's just too expensive. Like I love Game of Thrones, but it's just way too expensive to shoot in general, and then to have that on top of it would have been just utter madness, utter
bastard
chaos,
whole
most likely.
2016. Two bastards enter,
Yeah,
one bastard leaves.
yeah, exactly. So, um, all right. So here's where we get to the nitpicking part that I have a problem with. Daenerys wants to burn all of their cities, kill all the masters in all the cities, and destroy all their armies. And Tyrion makes the plea that, hey, if you do that, you're just like your father. Yes. However, the smarter move from Tyrion, and I think Tyrion should have known this, because this is Tyrion we're talking about. He's not stupid, um, like some other people in his family. We'll get to that. But Tyrion should have been like, I understand that you want to, you know, get revenge against them, but remember, their armies are full of slaves, just like your armies are full of former slaves. You could easily convert all of their armies against them. It's like, you want this revolution, do this revolution, and you wouldn't even need to see it. The masters are already there. I would have been like, hey, guess what? I'm about to go tell all of your slaves that they can now be with me and they are free men. If they want to leave, they can leave. But if they want to fight, they can stay and fight with me, as we're going to free more people and get their families free from Volantis. And instead of episode 10 being, okay, there's this magical boat rides full of Dornish folk and getting rid of Dario, I would have taken Dario with me and just done like flash cuts. Like while Cersei's doing what the stuff we're doing in 10, I would have done like flash cuts of like her just really just going to Yunkai and having the Yunkai slaves and their armies and everyone's ships there join her. And all the rest of the slaves that want to stay there, it's whatever. But everyone else joins her. And she goes to Karth and does that and does it there. Well, maybe not Karth, because I think you need Karth next season. I think Dario's gonna have problems there. And then you go to Volantis, and you have Volantis being the same way. Like, she doesn't burn Volantis to the ground. No. The slaves in Volantis join her armies, and she has additional ships now. And so now she has this like flotilla of insane proportions, the biggest floating army that the world has ever seen. You know what I mean? And
Well, I mean, she still got that.
not really. I'll get to that next when we get to the next part of this. We'll get to that. So, but I did like what I saw there. I liked Grey Worm getting some revenge against the Masters because I felt like he deserved that. I liked the memes that came from that. They were like, it was like, what if he has to die? And then it has like the photo of him. He's like, I tell joke. So,
I mean, I think in the end, what you said should have happened. I don't think Tyrion told her to do that, but I think ultimately that's what happened pretty much. Just off screen, we didn't see it because you got the scene at the end where Grey Worm basically tells the soldiers, you could die for these men who wouldn't die for you, or you can, and basically that's how they get an entire armada, is they all surrender to her.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Well,
she's
I'm
talking
saying that.
about leaving Dario behind to govern what's now Dragon's Bay or some shit like that.
Yeah, instead of Slaver's Bay. We'll get to that part too. But it's a
Personally, I
nitpick.
would have shot myself if I had to watch more of Daenerys and Essos.
I wouldn't want to. I'm not saying like keep her in Essos. I'm saying at the maybe not even at the end of this episode, but
I
like right
absolutely
at the end of the Battle of the Bastards, it being like a recap of like the havoc she wreaked, just having all the slaves follow her. So now you have this massive Gliscari for the book readers out there, Gliscari and low Valyrian speaking people, the brown people, on top of the Dothraki, coming to repopulate Westeros. I think it would have been an interesting thing, just considering the situation in Europe / the UK right now. Just me, just saying.
I
Uh,
just honestly didn't want to see more of Daenerys and Essos than I had to.
fair.
I'm so tired of that storyline dragging out as long as it has.
No, that's fair.
And then we got the obligatory she goes and plays with the Dothraki again for like 2 episodes.
Yeah. So let's get to the main show.
but yeah, Daenerys and Essos has to be my least favorite part. It's like because it's just done poorly. Like all of Essos in the show pretty much has been done poorly. Grey Worm's awesome though.
Yeah. So
I could handle more scenes of Grey Worm doing his thing in Essos than I would be able to handle watching Daenerys just blah blah blah. I'm the blah of blah and blah the blah the blah. The girl has too many names.
yeah.
Because God knows she would go to every city and rattle off every single title she's subscribed to herself.
Yeah, but you're saying it would have happened like that. No, I'm saying literally a quick cut of her at Yunkai, her at Volantis, and we keep the rest of the episodes the way they are. You just know she's there and the slaves join her.
Well, then they would have had to spend more money on filming those locations they haven't been to in forever.
No. You just film her inside somewhere in Volantis or at the Long Bridge where the Greyjoys were in the first place. They already have that set. And of course, there's that part. The Greyjoys joining. The Greyjoys arrive after the battle. And what I'm going to call, for the sake of Yara, Yara's interesting previous situations and current, a bisexual on potentially bisexual sexual tension going on.
She had more chances at Daenerys than Jorah has had in 6 seasons.
Yeah, she did. Like, yeah. I mean, there's nothing to say about that, yeah.
Keeping in mind that entire relationship is just kind of creepy on Jorah's
to me,
part.
At least.
Jorah was a full-grown adult when Daenerys was born.
Hold on. One sec. Go ahead and speak again.
I was saying that entire Jorah loving Daenerys thing was just creepy because he was like a full-grown adult when she was born.
Yeah, but again, you've got to get like that whole weird, pedophilic nature of it at first really kind of melted away. They dropped that like, hey, he's really old thing until Dario brought it up again.
What can I say? I'm never going to forget that Jorah is a really old man trying to hit like a 16-year-old girl.
On the show, she's older than that, but yeah.
I lost track of how old she is on the show compared to how old she was in the books.
Well, if we have it correct time-wise, from the first season through this season has actually elapsed about 4, close to 5 years. At highest, 7 to 8 years.
I mean, I have no idea. I know that in the beginning she was 15, in the books she was 13, and after that, I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah. So
Timekeeping isn't exactly something the show's been keen on.
time doesn't. Yeah, they don't really like time. Uh, so you have the Greyjoys show up. The Greyjoys join, and it seems like all right, we might be headed somewhere. Which takes us, of course, to fucking that beautiful quote unquote negotiation parlay before the battle, where Lyanna Mormont is just like staring into Ramsay's soul the whole time, and I was happy.
Yeah, that
Man,
was
you got a
freaking.
really weird echo this time.
I have no idea. I haven't done anything different. I don't hear any echo.
When I'm talking, I can hear me on your side.
Oh, whoops. Well, I mean, payback, I guess. Try now.
Hello? Ah, there we go.
Yeah, I turned the volume of my headset down a bit.
So,
Basically, what you were hearing was yourself coming through the speakers of my headset
oh, that's crazy.
and getting
Yeah,
caught by
because
the microphone because I've got like 7.1 Dolby surround headset.
oh yeah, and you got, of course, you got the mics on your headset. I forgot about that.
Yep.
All right, sorry, folks. Little technical difficulties. I'd say we cut it in post, but we don't. We don't do post production on these. Quit playing. Uh, so no, I really like that the way we had her sort of really, you know, giving her disapproval of the very idea of Ramsay and the Umbers and Karstarks, doing this. Like, you could tell she's just pissed. And if she had the army, she'd have gone into Winterfell her damn self. And she's like all of 9 years old. I'm just like, really?
I just like the meme of it, friggin' where Ramsay's like, we have more soldiers, but we have Lyanna Mormont, and then it's her glaring at him, and then Ramsay turned around riding away. Nope.
Oh, they absolutely have got to give her plenty of lines next season. Because I don't think they realized what they
forever.
it's like they accidentally had something pretty great, and they probably knew it. Like, all right, we're gonna let her talk a couple times because she's the one that's always been loyal, with no question. Next season, I fully expect her to have some serious lines. What I really expect is for her to take over caring for Bran after Mira gets murdered by White Walkers. Yes, folks, I'm calling it. Mira Reed is going to die. And I'll tell you why when we get to episode 10. The battle itself. First off, Rickon is an idiot. And I don't care what people are saying.
Serpentine!
For even beyond that, like, okay, Ramsay's clearly not paying attention with these arrows. He's clearly trying to not hit you. How about you one the direction where it gets even harder to hit you? There's a massive hill that he is right there at the cusp of when Ramsay shoots at him. Imagine Ramsay having to then account for not just distance, but height. It's not going to get to... Anyway.
Imagine if he would have zigged and zagged a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, somebody, in Rickon's case, who grew up in Winterfell and was already at his age, around people training to fight, because as we learned from John and Rob, and then of course from the flashbacks with Bran of when Lyanna and Benjen and Ned were young, as very small children, they were learning to fight. Rickon definitely should have been learning to fight.
Or, whenever Ramsay shot an arrow, he could have just stopped and backpedaled a little bit and watched it land in front of him and then ran.
Yeah.
Anything at all to make killing you harder.
Yeah. It's like backpedal until you see the arrow off in flight and then zag the other direction. It's not like he's firing a gun at him. He's literally firing a bow and arrow. Like, oh, that arrow landed and missed me completely. Let me turn around and backpedal so I can see what he's doing. Oh, Now he shot the arrow. It's going to follow this path. Let me go the opposite direction so that I can get away from this arrow. But, that would make sense and Rickon would be alive, and we wouldn't get episode 10 stuff. Anyway, Rickon's dead. So's his wolf. Let's get on to the fight. What in bumblefuck was that battle? I have not seen anything filmed that gruesomely in a long time. I dare say Braveheart.
There's obvious influences from Braveheart in there, and I think the directors even mentioned that in some interviews that obviously the charge scene from Braveheart was an influence. But the cinematography aside, I just want to ask, who gave the Starks power? Who thought that was a good idea?
Okay, technically speaking, the Barrow Kings, of which
it was a rhetorical question.
Okay, you can't ask a question on Game of Thrones history and me be like, all right, well, like, this is stupid. No, I was like, oh, well, the Barrow Kings were technically the first kings in the north.
Yes, I know.
The first to call themselves kings, and then the Starks, took power from them and killed all their skin-changing friends, the males at least, and then took all the daughters and had kids with them.
The reason I ask this is because
the Starks.
The Starks are just stupid.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I've noticed this. They're not all stupid. It's that the ones in charge are always stupid.
Like, okay, what have we seen so far? Ned Stark, Littlefinger tells him don't trust Littlefinger. He trusts Littlefinger, gets killed. Robb Stark breaks his agreement, gets killed by Walder Frey. Rickon Stark doesn't
run outside of a straight line.
Doesn't run outside of a straight line. Bran Stark, told not to go into a vision without the Three-Eyed Raven, goes into the vision without the Three-Eyed Raven. Jon Snow, specifically told by Sansa not to get baited by Ramsay, promptly charges headfirst by himself into battle after watching his freaking brother, get killed by arrows. Jon proceeds to charge himself into a volley of arrows.
Mm-hmm.
After being told what kind of games Ramsay likes to play and what he does immediately what he was told not to do.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the Starks that end up in charge are always stupid.
Well, I mean,
that includes Arya. Arya is also an idiot. No, Bran was Lord of Winterfell when Robb went off to war. Arya is also stupid.
Well, I mean, at the time that he screws things up, he's not in charge.
True. But notice, every one of them that gets any kind of power does something stupid. The only smart Stark that still died because the world is fucked up is Benjen. Benjen's like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I'm out.
Benjen, I went north of the wall and they put a knife in my heart.
Literally, they put a knife in his heart.
It was made of obsidian.
First they put an ice knife in his heart, in his stomach, and then the children put an obsidian knife in his heart.
I just want to have the reunion between him and Jon Snow so they can talk about who put knives in their heart.
They put a knife in my heart. Yeah, they put a knife in my heart too. I'm alive from it. What?
Also,
hold on. They just lose accents that sound American. Like, wait, how?
I just want to point something out that you just. It's just like one of those weird. Wow, really? Maybe Melisandre didn't really have anything to do with the Jon's resurrection. If you think about it, I mean, they putting knives in people's hearts seems to revive them. If you look at the case of Benjen, like he was getting turned into a white and they put a knife in his heart and it revived him. They created the freaking Night King by shoving an obsidian knife in his heart. Maybe something special was about that knife they stuck in Jon Snow's heart. Maybe that's the key to maybe that's just the key to immortality in Westeros. Maybe the obsidian has nothing to do with it. You just got to stick a knife in somebody's heart.
There you go. That's
Well, I
it.
mean, if you look at the Azor Ahai, he creates an awesome sword by running it through his beloved's heart.
Yep.
Ran it
Oh,
through the
speaking of which, John slamming sword, stabbing Sansa to get it. Just gonna call it now. Because we can't have nice things in Westeros. So let's get back to the battle.
He's gonna stab Benjen with it.
I gotta tell you, the thing I love most about the battle is not the charge. And people are gonna be like, oh, so it's definitely when John like reaches out from underneath the dead bodies. Not that either. So it's Ramsay getting killed. Not even that. The thing I love the most is right when they are starting to get surrounded, you see dudes on top of the body pile, like stabbing motherfuckers and tossing them off of it. And it was just like, this is a siege, bro. Like we are finally seeing like some crazy pitched battle stuff. And it was just like, I got the high ground, stab, toss.
Yeah.
I loved it because it looked visceral. It looked scary. It looked like something that would strike fear into you, and that by pure force of will is the reason why you are actually able to keep fighting. You know, you need to see John continue to fight with the sword, because otherwise, one of these other there is no escape at that point. Everyone is going to be trapped in there, and Ramsay's firing arrows across. It was perfect. And then, of course, you know, the Umbers come down. Who does the North belong to? Not you, dude. Like, there is no scenario where you own the North. Like, Ramsay might own the North. It's not you.
Crap.
Oh man. So I love that. That was my favorite part of that battle, because like they pulled back just long enough for us to be like, oh, this is scary as hell. Um, what's going down here? You know, and then go right back into it. I love that about it. I gotta say, they showed the behind the scenes of how they did all the horses and everything, and to see the horses, you know, galloping very slowly and not even close to each other, you really realize it did have to take millions of dollars to make this episode happen, because there's no way, like, they're speeding up the horses, you know, movements. What looks like crashes are really just the horses kind of slowly riding past each other. Like, and he's like, you guys took that, sped it up, and moved things in basically, you know, video Photoshop, and then just madness, absolute madness. And I could like, when John swung at the guy on the horse and it sent him flying backwards because the horse was going so fast. Like, yes, absolutely. You know, I don't apologize for my bloodlust, and that episode sated my bloodlust for at least a week.
The only thing we were missing was milk for the cornflakes.
Yeah.
We had blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. We needed milk for the cornflakes.
Yeah, we definitely needed that, and it was, oh my god! Like, I rewatched it with.
I'm actually curious as to, like, they seriously hand wave that shit out of existence, because next we see Winterfell, there is no mountain of corpses.
Okay, well, here's my thought. I think they just burned the bodies and they didn't want to show us the funeral pyre, because John would know. John's entire army knows, the ones that are alive at least, between the wildlings and you know, the actual, you know, like Davos and everybody else. They know you better burn these fucking bodies or we're all in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, that would have been such an awesome scene to have John standing on the wall of Winterfell, and in the distance there's just a giant mountain of corpse fire.
It had to stink too.
And then all you see is someone throwing Ramsay's body into it.
Well, no, because Ramsay's puppy child. He's puppy poo now.
Oh, there's probably bits of him left over. You never know.
I would have let the dogs keep the bones. Are you kidding me?
Okay, fine. Better yet, you see them tossing Umber into the fire.
Yes. And Karstark. I forgot his first name.
He doesn't need one where he's going. Into the fire.
It doesn't matter what your name is. But yeah, no, I was really
segueing into episode 10. No.
No, not yet. I don't know how you feel about this, but I kind of like this idea that Sansa is becoming this weird combination of Baelish and Ramsay.
I think what's funny is like all of the Starks except John are becoming like twisted, fucked up versions of a Stark.
Yeah. Well, it's because John's not really full Stark, so you know.
No, he's just gonna go crazy and be like, "I love you, Sansa."
Dude, like, but they could seriously end with that, and nobody would be mad because they've explained that he's not really her brother.
Yes, but they're still related, so it's still totally Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
The love which dares not speak its name.
Well, no, then it'd be. I mean, in that
No,
situation, they're like
better yet.
Tywin and his wife.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Sam Tarly to turn out to be the Azor Ahai.
I think it's Davos.
I'm just wait. No, Davos already said it's not him.
Did he say it's not him?
Yeah, his actor was. He was given permission to answer questions, and he said he
Oh,
thinks the
that's
theory
right.
that Davos is the Azor Ahai is horseshit, basically. And he said if he is, I haven't been told it, because I guess George R. R. Martin
That's right.
told
Yeah,
him
George
the
told him stuff,
secret.
but like what he knows is something important. So I'm wondering if Davos becomes maybe Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
But no, seriously, I'm waiting for Sam Tarly to just come out and be the Azor Ahai, and he ends up killing Gilly with Heartsbane, and it becomes a
Oh
fucking
my
flaming
god!
sword.
Of course, because why wouldn't it be Heartsbane? The sword has heart in it, man. Like,
I don't know why that thought just came to me. It's like, wouldn't it be funny,
of
like,
course.
knowing how George R. R. Martin is and how he said how the ending's gonna be, and everyone's getting built up around this prophecy of, and oh, it's Stannis. No, it's not actually Stannis. It's John. What if it turns out to be fucking Sam Tarly?
Hey, Sam the Slayer. So we get, the death of 1-1, aka the death of $500,000 in CGI every season. Like, anytime 1-1 appears, I'm like, and there's another 100,000. I pretty much knew he was going to die because Ghost wasn't in the episode. It's like, okay, they're saving Ghost to kill 1-1, which I wasn't actually mad about. I mean, a giant is both great but also a liability. And a show that needs so much money to do these last 15 episodes. By the way, it is official now. 15 episodes, not 13. So we're either going to get like a season of 8 and 7, or maybe we get like a 10 and 5 situation. I don't know. But I really I felt like he needed to die in order to make sure that like Ghost, who is really the only important direwolf, and Nymeria, who hasn't been on screen in a long time, but who I expect next season because I expect Arya and her to get reunited in the Riverlands. We'll get to that in a minute. So I was fine with Ghost not being in the episode. I do love the dogs that they did use for it, because that dog that goes up to lick Ramsay's face, like, looks like, hey, is this? I get to eat the sweets now? Sweets? You get to eat the sweets? Like, that dog could not be more lovable looking in that moment. That, like, if it tried, I was just like, I want to hug the puppy, and I was like, wait, this puppy's about to kill Ramsay. I want to hug the puppy even more.
I was just over there like, wow, and this is why you don't teach Mr. Wiggles that people is food, and then starve him for 7 days.
Yeah.
My hounds are loyal to me. Well, they would have been had you not starved them for 7 days.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't think that through.
No, you didn't.
Maybe I should have just brought them to the battle and had them eat people.
Yes, you should have. That would have been crazy, though. Could you imagine, like, all of his hounds fighting Ghost? Like, just outright.
Could you imagine all of the PETA protests?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Of course. I'm surprised there weren't PETA protests for the dogs getting to kill a human this time. Actually, I take that back. I'm not surprised about that because PETA doesn't give a shit about humans. They'd be fine with a dog eating a human.
It's probably their new mascot, to be honest.
Right. I guarantee there'll be a PETA like poster here soon, based solely on the dogs eating Ramsay.
This is what dogs should do.
I felt, of all the villains that turned cartoonish at the end, he was kept the least cartoonish at the end. Like he was still bad, but there's nothing he did the last season and a half that he didn't do when he first showed up. You know what I mean? He was consistently the same level of villainy. He didn't become a cartoonish Snidely Whiplash at the end, like everybody else has at this point.
I'm Ramsay Bolton, see?
So I like that.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much stayed the same lovable sociopath we all met all those
Yeah,
years ago.
there's a reason why you like him as a villain because he is absolutely not. I mean, I hate calling people the Joker of blah blah blah, but I think it's fitting that he's a true sociopath that has absolute psychotic tendencies.
As opposed
Like,
to Joffrey, who just had really bad mommy issues.
yeah, permissive little brat. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Uh, like I said, I like Sansa smiling at the end there.
Yeah.
Like she stayed and watched. No one made her watch. She stayed and watched. It's sort of her version of the he who passes the sentence swings the sword. It's like I sentenced you to die from your own fucking dogs. I'm gonna sit here and watch this shit like with
I like how the
satisfaction.
only reason Jon Snow did not beat him to death was because he realized it wasn't his to kill.
Yeah,
That
he's like,
belonged to
I'm
Sansa.
being a kill stealer. I should stop. I should stop. I got up.
Also, House Mormont is the official sponsor of House Stark now.
Seriously, the fucking sword. Like the sword
The
popped. I
sword.
mean, the sword was a Mormont. The sword is a Mormont sword.
The shield had Mormont on it.
Yeah, I'm like, so, like, are they paying for these ad spots? Because this is everywhere.
And then it turns out Jon Targaryen marries Lyanna Mormont.
No, don't go pedophile on me. He's not Peter Baelish.
No, I'm not saying they go pedophile. I'm saying they just form a diplomatic marriage alliance. They get betrothed.
No, that's why she has to marry Bran.
No, yeah, that's true.
So that's it for 9.
I always forget about Bran, probably because he's a tree.
He's not going to be a tree for long. I think Bran's going to end up healed. I think he's going to end up. I think his legs are going to somehow end up healed soon.
I think he's
don't know
going to end
how.
up a tree. I think he's going to spend the rest of his life as a tree. And then in like next season, his tree is going to time travel, and he's going to go talk to Bran.
At the beginning. That'd be crazy. So
and then it turns out all along it was him. Time travel.
Paradoxes is what you mean.
No,
that's really 10.
No, what happens? How Bran time travels? He goes back and wargs into the mind of the Blood Raven.
Wow.
And then lives on to teach himself.
He works in the Blood Raven to get in there, and goodness. Okay, so that craziness ends episode 9 because I have no reason to top that. Episode 10 opens. Whew, Lord, it was so good. I was like, immediately, I'm like, this is the baptism from Godfather.
Yeah.
Because they were changing like perspective so fast, but it was all this calming music, and I'm just like, oh, some shit's about to go down. I thought it was interesting to have Marjorie having clearly counseled Loras to, admit guilt and pledge to the faith. I don't know what you thought. I think maybe in her mind it was, all right, Loras will do this, and then I'll get him out of here.
No, it was such a beautiful thing because they were all conning each other. Marjorie thought she was playing the High Sparrow. The High Sparrow thought she was playing Marjorie, and Cersei was playing all of them. Because there's that one scene where she goes to the High Sparrows like, you promised he'd be able to leave. You mutilated him. Or some shit like that. She talks about how he had promised her something, and then he mutilated Loras, and then he's like, he's free to leave once we're done with Cersei's trial.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, Marjorie had made some deal with the High Sparrow that was designed to screw over Cersei Lannister, but Cersei Lannister screwed them over.
Yeah, and he's thinking, and of course, the High Sparrow's thinking like, haha, I got one over on you, because now he's got the mark, so people know he doesn't have lands anymore.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that really brings me to Cersei and Tommen. I, here's what I struggle with. I've listened to most of my favorite reviewers. Rarist hasn't posted yet. I've listened to them, and they each are kind of the mind that like Cersei didn't care that something might affect Tommen, or she didn't, excuse me, fully grasp that it was going to, because in her mind he's already dead. I don't know if I agree with that. And here's what I think
I
instead. I think she was planning on him to kill himself. Because if you notice, she doesn't send the mountain in there to protect him, just to stop him from leaving and forcing him to see what she's doing. And then when that's over, the mountain just leaves and his regular guard is there.
I think basically she has this prophecy and it's stuck in her head about how she's not going to live to see her three children are not going to outlive her, and she believes deeply in it now that she had lost two of them. And then Tommen turning on her and going with the High Sparrow, she was more into her victory to bother caring about Tommen at that point. I don't think she did any of it hoping he'd kill himself or anything related to him. I think he was just completely out of her,
No, I
absent from.
think she did it knowing he would kill himself. Like,
I
I think she did it entirely knowing that when this is over, he's either going to join me or like agree with me or die.
well, I mean, in
And I
the
think her thought process was, if he doesn't kill himself, then he'll abdicate his power to me,
well, I
and
mean,
I'll be legitimized through him doing so.
in the after the episode scene, the creators actually talk about how Tommen had killed himself because Cersei was basically too busy gloating to be there to comfort him when after everything he just seen, and it was just massive parental neglect on her part as to why he
Yeah,
killed himself. They didn't seem to hint that it was part of some nefarious scheme of hers, but they did say that once she saw his dead body, she really didn't care. Now, it may have been honestly a massively convoluted way to get around kinslaying by making him kill himself. Yeah,
yeah.
that's possible, but
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
basically
Like
what
this
people
whole
point
idea
out
that like
is that she
she
sees
would be
his
fine with
body.
kinslaying
That
would be.
she's.
I was saying, I was
I
saying
was
like
just
this.
fuck
Your
you,
delay
man.
is killing me right now. You there?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
No, what I was going to say is they talk about how when she sees the body, basically the first thing, she doesn't really show any emotion. She's just like, oh, well, what a shame. I guess I'll just take the crown then.
Yeah, I was
Unlike
about
her
to say,
previous children, where she was like super heartbroken.
and that's what I kind of mean. I don't mean that she was actively going like, I'm gonna fucking let him die. I think that subconsciously her whole goal was, I'm going to get power out of this. Either I'm going to regain full control of my son and he's going to die in some other fashion. Uh, he's going to abdicate power to me so that he doesn't end up, dead in some fashion, or he's going to kill himself. And I'm okay with that. Like, that was her mental process. I'm not saying her outward process and the planning was doing that, because obviously there's stuff that she couldn't account for.
Because, I mean, on one hand, it would have made more sense for her just to let him go to the thing and then blow up. Nobody alive, honestly, has proof that Cersei's the one who blew the sept up.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, is she really concerned with being a kinslayer if she just blew up the Sept of Baelor, all the septums, the entire foundation of the religion that all these people have?
Yeah. So I like, but I also like Tommen's death because it was fucking quick, folks. And I will see here. We'll try the almighty screen share again. Almighty screen share, work for
I,
me.
I think the other thing is Tommen's death was actually forecasted by his grandfather, Tywin Lannister,
Yeah.
when he early on he talked about holiness making a good king, and Tywin goes into this rant about the last king that tried to be holy ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Tommen tries to do that, and then kills himself. Because I think it's interesting
Well,
because
to be fair,
Cersei,
Baelor doesn't technically try to kill himself by his starvation. He just keeps
yeah,
starving himself
he
until he's
kills
dead.
himself. It doesn't matter if he was trying to. He killed himself. That's the point. But I think it's interesting that Tommen was put in a position where he had announced himself as basically the crown being married to the faith, and then his mom goes and blows up the faith, and there's nothing he can do as a king.
As
He
king
can't do
to stop it.
nothing. As a person, he can't do anything because it's his mother. So how he can't punish her because it's his mother, but as the king, he has to punish her, and he just says YOLO and takes a fucking dive out the window.
Yeah.
Because there's no way his rule could be legitimate after that, because it's going to be like, oh, well, I guess she gets a pass for blowing the faith up.
Exactly. Now, folks, we're going to try the screen share again. It did okay the last... It technically did okay the last time. So we're going to try this real quick. Share. There we go. So, as you can see there, like... the form of it is just perfect. Because he walks past the window to set down his crown, walks back, walks up, and then just boom, leans off. Just leans right off. Just not even a second thought. Like, I have to give the man credit for just saying, nope, out.
I mean, I'm sorry, if I was him, that would be my first reaction to it. It's like, you know what, I just don't want to live in this world anymore. Eek.
In his case, I totally understand. Like I said, I understand it in his case. It's just, for me, like, hey, bro, like, there's other options. That, of course, gets us, like, the Lancel crawling towards the wildfire was a little bit stupid. Again, we're back to my nitpicking of things, why it's not a 10 out of 10 for me. The idea that he gets stabbed in a much less vital area than Arya does and can suddenly no longer walk and crawls over at least 100 feet to some candles that are slowly burning. I like the candles idea because that's a great medieval, fuse comparison. I like that. But the idea that he gets there in time to see the candles burning out, but not smack his hand down on the flame so that the fire goes out, the fire never ignites, excuse me. Like, that, come on, man. Come on. Scoop the candles up with your hands. Who gives a shit if you burn your hands? Nothing else would get burned.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, he probably did feel he failed as a king. Happy-go-lucky chat people.
Yeah. Oh, do we have some chat, folks? Yep.
Yeah.
It's Kara. Hey, Kara. Yeah. And hey, I don't begrudge him going off the cliff. It's fine with me. I'm very mad that my Marjorie's gone. If Natalie Dormer needs my phone number, I'm just saying 816-288. Kidding. Like, people don't understand how much, like, on that show, she does a lot of very friendly things, but she also did a lot of very cool stuff. I thought her confronting the High Sparrow right there in the middle of the trial, in the middle of the wait for Cersei's trial, was actually genius. Of course she's the one that figures it out, because she's the only person who thinks enough like Cersei and her grandmother to have figured out what's going on.
I have a big problem with the way the episode ended too, but I mean, for me, the wildfire was a great idea, except, like, are they implying that was the wildfire that Aerys stuffed down there that they used?
Absolutely. That's absolutely what they're implying.
Because the Great Sept discovered that, and basically...
No, that's only in the books. They never say that in the show.
I guess that didn't happen in the show.
Yeah, that didn't happen in the show.
I thought it was just one of those things that happened, but they didn't decide to mention.
No, they never mentioned anything about it being discovered. The only wildfire they say that was discovered, other than what Pycelle, not Pycelle, is it Pycelle that tells Cersei And Tyrion, it might be, but the only person besides that, only group besides that wildfire, he says it accidentally like exploded and killed a couple hundred people.
Because I mean, I remember that basically that was the only way they had enough wildfire for the Battle of Blackwater Bay was because they got that out from underneath the city.
They got that out, and then they had made some more. Yeah.
I guess in the show they just ramped up production.
Well, yeah, because Tyrion like tells them to make some more because he's kind of figuring out, we could actually use this to help out when Stannis gets here. But yeah,
I love making it in the Crusader Kings 2 mod because it always just goes horribly wrong in your face.
yeah, I I like making the wildfire. I actually use it a lot,
Yeah,
fairly
I
often.
do, but it's inevitable that it will explode in your face at some point. It happened to me. It's like, boom, your supply of wildfire exploded and Casterly Rock is on fire now.
Yeah, that's why I never keep it. Like, it's never at my main castle. I'll make it and send it out somewhere.
Casterly Rock wasn't my main castle.
Oh, okay. Unless you're playing, you are known for playing some fucking wild games. You being a Lannister doesn't surprise me.
Oh no, I wasn't. I was House Rain.
Oh, okay. I went. I think the last time I made Wildfire,
it was a camp
playthrough.
It was a
camp. Playthrough was Tarth.
Oh, Darth. My campaign, I was the Reigns of Castamere, and somehow I ended up on the Iron Throne.
That makes sense because at the time that Tywin goes in to kill the Reigns, like it's because they've kind of gotten physically to a position where they're a threat. So if you just survive that, yeah. I get it. But yeah,
I love the Lannisters. No, my favorite moment in that mod was when we were playing together and I kidnapped fucking Jaime Lannister. Just randomly, I sent a spy to kidnap Jaime Lannister and I got him.
Yeah, people don't understand like that. Folks, you guys have got to play this mod for Crusader Kings 2. It basically simulates the entire Game of Thrones world, but at the book level. So you literally get all of the little intricacies. The thing is, you do wild stuff because it totally diverges the moment you start the game from whatever happened in the book.
But for the people watching, the best part of me having an assassin kidnapped Jaime Lannister is because in this campaign he and I were playing, I was Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, he was playing Dany. I was Dorne, if I remember correctly, in that one.
Yes, you were Dorne.
Was that Durand or was it? I must have been Durand Martell.
You were the old man because you complained about how old he looked.
Yeah, I was Durand because Durand's like really old in that mod for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. But
and then you tried to declare independence, and then I had to help you.
Yeah, because oh god, they all came for me. Oh yeah. God, like even the North was coming to.
Oh no, that was the first time that I had to come help you, and I was the Greyjoys, and that campaign died, and then we started again. That was Daenerys.
Like,
and then we made an alliance together.
Yeah, everybody was coming south to come get me. I was like,
It's like, because for some reason we picked the wrong start date that time, so Joffrey wasn't king and Robert never got killed.
Yeah, there's so much weirdness. So...
Yeah, pretty much Marjorie did basically end up dying because she gave too much power to the High Septim in that fight, or well, the High Sparrow in that fight.
And that's everybody's failing. Like, she didn't realize what Cersei's failing was. Like, Cersei realized, I gave this dude way too much power, and then started working to destroy him. If Marjorie would have done essentially the same thing, like gotten out and then immediately started working with Cersei, she would have lived. I don't know if Loras would have lived, but she would have lived. She didn't have another trial.
Yeah, basically, the moment she was absolved, she should have just told her dad, "Now kill them."
Yeah, yeah. Like Loras is dead. Either way we go about this, kill them. And the funny part is, that works in Cersei's favor too, because now the Tyrell armies are pariahs and the regular people are rising up against the Tyrells. Like, They had no real good way out, but that was a better way out. People might have lived. Um, so that of course brings us to. Can we talk about the breakup of Danny and Dario Naharis?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Come speak to
Oh,
you
like
again.
here's okay. Again, this is a nitpick, but it's also one of the reasons why I can't say this is my favorite episode 10. She's quote unquote breaking up with him by giving him Marine. Now, Dario's good at a couple things: killing people and apparently fucking. So, as you know, de
That
facto
government's gonna go
police.
well.
Yeah, like, dude, like if I'm Dario, I'm going like, I love you, but you realize you just gave me a city, told me and my army are basically king, and
More than
said
a
just don't
city,
make slaves.
she gave him all the slavers' pay.
Yeah, truly. I mean, you could
It's gonna
argue that
become
that
it's gonna
the other
become
cities are not
Dario's
necessarily
Bay
that.
of Hoes.
Yeah, like if I'm Dario, the first thing I do is go, okay, Yunkai, Karth, Volantis, check it out, fellas. We're gonna work together, and I want you each to send me your hottest chicks. I will marry them, and we will have our own power here.
But I mean, she was pretty much explicit in the fact that all the cities in Slaver's Bay basically belonged to her now, because she
Yeah,
was talking about leaving him there and his second sons to help establish the new governments.
yeah, yeah. But if I'm Dario, I'm like, yeah, I am the new government. Like you left me as the literally only power left in this area. All the other armies have been disbanded or are coming with her. All the ships definitely went with her. Like you literally just made Dario emperor of Dragon's Bay. Am I wrong?
Dario and Podrick should form a Chicolo club. Yes, they should.
Like Dario is apparently the man. Like, but like I said, I wouldn't be too mad. He was like the dwarf came up with this, didn't he? Duh! Like who else? You think Daenerys is gonna come up with this? Like come on now. She's smart-ish. She's not that smart. We've seen that. She makes dumb decisions, you know, like fucking you. Like, uh, but uh, who's middle of the fucking show? You're calling? No.
Can you hear me
I
now?
really hate people do that. Yeah, yeah. T-Mobile though, not Verizon. Um, so I really do get like I said, I got a kick out of the Dario situation, because it's like I wouldn't be mad. You like the love of my life could look me in the face and say, I've got to be able to make these political alliances. Like I will come visit and we will fuck on the side. You are Mr. Side Piece for the rest of your life, and as compensation, I'm gonna give you 4 of the richest cities in existence. Okay, baby, I'll see you soon. I'm done. Okay, baby, I'll see you soon. And then there would just be a line of women who were coming in to fuck me and feed me grapes and pour me wine and leave. Like that's just what do you do all day? I
All
wake
right,
up.
Mark Antony, calm down.
Like, hey, you know, like
Your
when in
line of
Rome, man,
thinking,
when in Rome.
your line of thinking just reminds me exactly of that one scene of Mark Antony in HBO's Rome. I'm not getting out of this bed until I fuck someone.
Like, come on, like, but if you're Dario, that's not my personal motivation. But like, if I'm Dario, if I'm not me, if I'm Dario, that's exactly what I want in life. I get her when she wants to be gotten. Fine, I have to like deal with the fact that she has a husband and all that. But so
Right?
like so I have literally every other woman in the world available to me now. Heck, I could take the army that I'm definitely going to train. I'm definitely going to train every one of these cities to have an army just like mine. I could definitely take that army and conquer the rest of the known world. Essos would belong to me. Like, if we're talking about me, Matt Williams now, if we're talking about the Ruthless Wonder, I'm like, oh, okay. So I get all the hot chicks. I get every single city here, all their money, and all of their military. Okay, good. I'm out. Let's go. And 20 minutes after she's gone, I'm like, okay, fellas, here's what I need to do. We need to go take this. We need to go take that. We need to take these places, and I will rule Essos. And you all will each be a governor in each of the cities that's left over. The second sons would become like military generals, and like I said, my small council, as well as the governors, the viceroys for each of these cities, as I conquer them and say, you belong to me now. Like,
Oh my
because
god,
why
I,
not?
I I just discovered how Cersei did what she did.
Oh, nice. Oh, also,
She paid the iron price. No.
she did pay the iron price. Speaking of the iron price, Yara is definitely hitting on Danny. We talked about that with the episode 9 bit. I'm very interested to see how that goes long term because I almost think Euron's going to kill her. Euron has got to kill one of the Greyjoys. And predictions wise, we'll really deal with that next episode. Like I said, folks, next week we're doing a full season recap with predictions. Not really like a full talk through each episode, but really just talking about the season as a whole and what we're doing. I really think Yara's going to get murdered by Euron, and I'll get to my slightly crazy theory about that in a minute. I along with that, I really enjoy uh, Varys showing up to meet the Queen of Thorns.
Yeah.
Like that scene where she's just like, it doesn't matter what your name is, you're an idiot. And look, you're not talking. Smart move. Like, was just perfect. Olenna always makes me happy when she shows up. The fact that she basically said the sand snakes are idiots and you all need to shut up and follow what I'm doing, just makes me so happy. Like Diana Rigg is a treasure, and I'm so glad she's in every season she's in.
Yeah, watching her shut down the sand snakes was just beautiful.
Now, if only the writers would have shut down the Sand Snakes the same way.
No, man, you had to kill that Dornish plot that was never going to happen. Had to kill it dead.
They killed a Dornish plot by doing the exact
And then
opposite of what would happen.
they just took House Dane and like held them under the water and drowned them.
No, they haven't taken House Dane. They have trapped House Dane inside Starfall, and no one is addressing it. No one. No one is addressing it.
If we pretend House Dane isn't there, it'll go away.
Like, seriously, we know House Dane is real because not only do we have Arthur Dane, but we have Dawn, and we've already had previous mentions of the Danes, like, including Ashara. So, where did you guys take my house? Like, yes, folks, you'll notice that the symbol that appears when I talk is one of the many versions of the House Dane sigil with the Golden Company's spear and skulls on it. That's because those are my two favorite groups. If I were to be in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, aka Game of Thrones, I would have seriously been a Dane who also is part of the Golden Company. And fuck Aegon, I would have brought the Golden Company back to Westeros to wreak havoc.
You know, that's one thing I've never thought of is like, what house would I be in Game of Thrones? I would just be a shit peasant. That would be me.
No, I want to be House Dane because I want to have a chance
if
to
you
get
look
Dawn.
in the crowd of people watching, waiting for Marjorie to get naked, which was way bigger than the crowd for Cersei, I would be like the 500th guy to the left, 50 feet back. I was shit peasant number 9,233.
Well, here's my thought on being a Dane. I would be a Dane for the following reasons. One, the chance to wield Dawn, which is an awesome sword. Folks, don't let the show fool you. The sword Dawn in the books is, quite frankly, the coolest sword they have described outside of maybe Blackfire. Maybe. I'm not even fully going to say yes to Blackfire being cooler. It is like milk white. We're talking like sheet of paper white, made from what apparently was a like asteroid that crashed near Starfall. And it is as old as the house is. So this sword is over 8,000 years old.
And no, Kara, we do not talk about the bullet train that Littlefinger installed in Westeros.
Yeah, Kara has missed our previous episodes where we talk about the bullet train underneath Westeros. the underground bullet train gets Varys and Littlefinger and apparently Arya now wherever they need to go.
Right. Last we saw
Um,
her, she was in Bravos. Now,
now, flat. Anyway, but no, Dawn is the coolest fucking sword, and I want that sword, so I have that possibility. There's not a lot of Danes. They all have purple eyes. Definitely want that. Um, there's a chance you're part Targaryen if you're a Dane because of the intermarrying from the families. Also part Martell because of those intermarrying as well. Like, I like all of that. I want it. Plus, I would have a cousin named Darkstar who I would murder so I could take his nickname. I am the Darkstar! I can just hear me yelling as I stab him in the heart. Because that's what we do here. We stab in the heart.
with a knife.
With a knife. So that's just a quick aside. Getting back to the story, though, I do like Varys, and I'll explain Kara's question. She asked, can we talk about the hyperspeed portal he and Littlefinger used to travel around? Unlike the Littlefinger situation, we have clear references that keep Varys from being in that magical teleport land Littlefinger belongs to. And here's what they are. When Varys leaves, it is clearly more than a day before the Masters come to Meereen. So he's not around when that happens. I know it seems like it's very close, but if you look at the way they do the scenes, there's a full scene cut. It isn't just Tyrion walks back up. It's he's not in the exact same clothes, and the sun is facing basically like the sun's beaming in from the same direction it would have been when he and Varys were down at the docks. So that's not the same day. I don't care how many weeks difference it was. You know that there is plenty of time between the end of the Battle of Meereen and, of course, the Battle of the Bastards in Episode 9, and when he shows up in Dorne. And he was going directly to Dorne, which is the absolute closest point between Meereen and Westeros. Like, those are the two closest points port-wise.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with him getting there. As we said earlier, I don't really believe that he got the ships and went all the way back to Slaver's Bay. I think Daenerys and the Ironborn, including Yara and Theon, went to Dorne and got everybody along the way. Because here's the thing, Varys has to be wherever the plan is and the plot is, because otherwise he has to trust someone to get the message back. I certainly believe that they basically all, like, he either sent a raven or, a message in some other fashion to let Dany know to come to Dorne, and that's where they met up with ships. They repaired the ships from the larger journey, and they're going from there. I think they're going directly for King's Landing and skipping what I told you guys previously, what I thought, which was that they might be going with the Aegon landing situation, but with Dany doing it instead. So I think that's the way that's going to happen.
It's either that or we're just reading too much into trying to explain what we saw happen that was just a gross oversight on their part.
Yeah, at this point, I try to be hopeful, but I agree. It's entirely likely that they just said, you know what, fuck it. He took the ship back over and then came back with everybody else. Like, the Dornish, for some reason, took all the ships and went all the way to Meereen just to come all the way back. Because, of course, they did.
I just took a test to see what Game of Thrones house I would be in. Apparently, I would be in House Lannister.
Filthy lions. All right.
I'm not even sure how I got that, because I didn't even say money was the most important thing to me, not once. And it's like, boom, Lannister.
Well, you do always pay your debts, so you know.
No, I don't. It's my debt collectors.
So.
Well, not my debt collectors, my debtors. I got so much of that, anyways.
Anyway, well, no, so we have that. I think that's out of the way. Hopefully, Kara feels vindicated and properly assuaged with our answers. If not, hey, sorry. Catch us next week when we talk about the crazy theories. I want to get to Jon and Sansa's discussion after the Littlefinger and Sansa discussion. Littlefinger's dead, bro. Like, He is literally going to die at the beginning of the next season. I don't know if it's going to be episode 1, 2, or 3, but he's going to die fast. The moment you say what your exact ambition is, you're croaked.
No, I love how his entire I only do what helps me fulfill this dream in my head of you marrying me and me being on the Iron Throne, and somehow I thought selling you to a rapist was going to accomplish that.
Oh no, I totally get his plan on that end. No. Okay, check it out. All right, so in Littlefinger's mind, his idea was he was going to sell her to Ramsay. Ramsay was going to basically be a problem, even though Peter said he did. If you remember when Peter first goes there, he's like, "I don't know you," and that's like odd for me. I normally know everything I get involved in. But he was thinking, okay, Roose and Ramsay are hated. Sansa's beloved. What he's going to do is get her with these people who are hated,
What?
and in her hour of need, come north with the Vale army. It didn't matter that Jon was being resurrected. He was always going to march north to Winterfell with the army of the Vale to save Sansa from the Boltons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was always his plan. He was always like, she's going to love me because I save her from fucking monsters. But, you know, he has... I think the book version is probably not nearly as kooky. I think it's going to be a little more understanding.
I mean, in the book version, Sansa's not getting raped by Ramsay.
Well, no, I don't mean that part. I mean, like, I think in the book, he's still going to ride north about, fake Arya, but he'll have Sansa with him. And so when he gets there and they find out she's a fake, that's when he's going to put the whole "I want to marry you" thing up. Because, like they said, like, all she does is wash her hair and suddenly she's Sansa Stark again. She's hiding out like right now entirely. So, but I'm telling you, like, that the idea that he was just like, I want the Iron Throne is so effing predictable. And I can't see Martin doing that with the character. I feel like he has to do more than that. But yeah, Sansa and Jon talking before Jon has to do the thing he has to do. I'm really scared for their characters. I feel like the show is going to do something weird. And I mean weird, like put them together at the end.
Weird, like the Targaryens.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, she has been saying an awful lot of "I love you, Jon Snow" lately.
Yeah. Like, I have a weird feeling she's going to kill Littlefinger to marry Jon. And that's after Jon finds out he's actually a Targaryen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really going to happen. I'm just saying, like, that's the thing that scares me. So, getting out of that, and
But
before
that
we
is
get
dark and full of fan fiction.
Yeah. That's been out there. Are you kidding me?
I know.
There's so much of it. It's really creepy. Especially, that's creepy, and then the ones who picked up on the fact that Georgia initially was going to have Jon in love with Arya as the incest thing, like that, like this shit gets bananas. Like, oh my god! And people have written it. People have written the story of Arya and Jon getting married at the end of like A Song of Ice and Fire. That's really out there. Somebody, I won't say which of our staffers who's into writing fan fiction of a sexual nature tends to enjoy sending me links to stuff I don't want to see. But yeah, she basically informed me like that shit's out there because it's out there. Shout out to her. We'll switch. I don't want to go just yet to Cersei's other revenge stuff. I want to talk about the Davos and Melisandre scene, which I thought was probably the best acted of the entire episode.
Yeah,
Like
that
no joke,
was.
their work each of their work this season has been I I hate to say number one, but at least number two or three, top three certainly, of acting jobs this season. Like the two of them, not necessarily always with each other, but as a unit, because I think of them as a unit. That's that ex Stannis contingent. Like they have been amazing with their acting this entire part of the season. I don't know what you thought.
I thought that was pretty good.
I loved him throwing the stag at her and her catching it.
Yeah, that entire scene was just really good, actually.
It was heart wrenching. Like I relived the burning. I was like, oh, having PTSD right now from this thing.
Did it trigger you?
uh,
Triggered.
no, it was just, and to watch John like on his face, John who doesn't, Kit Harington is very good at not showing emotion, and in that moment to watch him like use his facial muscles to really fight the emotion showing, like it was like he what like she burned a child alive, and he's like, but she brought me back, and you could see on his face he was troubled by what his options were of what to do. And then they go with the banishment, which is very Daenerys like, which a lot of people have pointed out as
And
well.
and and then in the end, he put a knife in her heart.
Yeah, he wanted to at least.
He should have.
No, you don't kill Melisandre.
Yeah, you do.
No,
Yeah,
no.
you do. Yeah, she's expendable. We can kill her.
I have to agree with her statement though. Like Davos was like, you know, you basically was like, you lied. And it's like, no, she was wrong, and we know she was wrong. She's been wrong most of the time. She never should have been following Stannis. I'm not certain she should have been following John, but I am certain that she needed to be with John. You know what I mean?
I don't think she's that important.
I think she is. I really do. I think the idea of R'hllor and this sort of newer, oh, I can't even say newer, like the idea of the R'hllorist being a little more connected to their internal natural magics than than folks like oh crap, what was the warlocks, like the R'hllorist, both her and Thoros and seemingly Kinvara are very connected to a natural magic kind of thing, which they've said is more powerful now that the dragons are there. So I really like that idea that yes, they are religious freaks, but she's had doubts, Thoros has had doubts, and the only zealot anymore is Kinvara. So I like that. I really enjoy that. I'm trying to think what else is there before we leave that. Oh, Jamie in the Riverlands with Walder Frey. Did you notice it when the girl popped up to serve them?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're both on the same page there. When she popped up to serve the two of them, I was just like, that doesn't make sense. She's got long hair like Talisa, whatever, how the hell you say her dead name. Um, and she's giving off that look. I'm like, that's Arya. I know what's going on here. But I like that too. I like Brand. I like Braun being like, I'm like, they're looking at you, dude. They give a shit about you. That waitress, these two chicks over there, they don't need me. And then Jamie would be like, ladies, you should fuck my best friend over here. Like, just do that. Like that was his entire command. Like,
yeah.
yes, I know in the modern day that's sexist. Whatever. I'm talking about like in the show that was like hilarious in the oh, you want them? Like, if you want them, I can give them to you. Like, that's basically what he was doing. I'm trying to think, what else do we end up with? I think that's all right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Cersei's revenge. Pycelle gets the personal kill at Qyburn's hands, which is exactly what Qyburn clearly wanted. Obviously, Lancelot and Iceberg and all that. Tommen dying, of course, and all that. But the Septa, and I always forget her name. Oh my! Like with all the other kills and all the other situations, I feel like, okay, that's just Cersei being Cersei. There's another level of depravity with what she does with the septa at that point.
Yeah, apparently it was supposed to be even worse in the script, but they toned it down.
I'm betting they actually showed her being raped by the Mountain.
Probably.
Because that's clearly what, like, I chuckled a little bit about the uh, about the shame bit at the end. Like, I chuckled. It was like the shame thing. And I was like, wait, no, I shouldn't have laughed at that. Like, I felt bad immediately after I saw that.
Shame.
Oh man. But the line, I will say again, the lines were amazing. I loved her talking about confessions, like, and sometimes confession feels good.
God. Every test I take, I end up at House Lannister, except at least this one, I've got a dancing Tyrion dwarf as the picture.
There you go. You are clearly
it is a gif of Tyrion dancing.
Did you send me the link for it so I can take it? We're gonna live have me take it while we talk.
I'm going to.
Yeah, we're gonna live take these quizzes here as we're going. To answer our question from the comment there, Arya actually changed faces when she killed Meryn Trant, so she already knew how to use different faces, but we didn't know that she took any faces with her when she left. Clearly, she did though, because otherwise, you know.
These are the two that I took.
BuzzFeed.
I have ad blocker, so I don't notice anything bad.
No, it's BuzzFeed. I just, BuzzFeed gets some extra time.
Yes.
All right, folks. I'm gonna take this as we continue to talk, but yeah, I was strangely okay with everything Cersei did except for that one. Like, when it started off with just the wine, I was laughing because it was funny. Yeah. But it slowly got out of control.
Just like everything else about Cersei.
Yeah, because, like, there was nothing good when the Mountain showed up. I'm like, oh no, the Mountain's gonna kill. She's like, I'm ready to die. She's like, you're not gonna die. I have so much stuff to do to you. And it's like, oh no. Can he? There's no way he can. Oh god.
They made it. I like everyone to take a moment to contemplate what this means. They made a zombie with a functional penis.
Yeah, that means the whites can also do this.
Game of Thrones fanfiction confirmed.
Like, that's going to be all over Game of Thrones fanfiction.
Sadly, from what I read on Cracked, it already exists.
What, the White Walkers? I mean, the whites are banging people?
Yes. It already exists.
That's just scary.
Yes, it is. It was on a Cracked.com list of strange fan fiction you don't believe existed.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Actually, I think it was an article solely dedicated to, yeah, here it is, 5 shockingly insane Game of Thrones fanfiction sex scenes.
No. I don't want to read that. I don't read that at all.
One is Daenerys has to have sex with a horse before she can marry Khal Drogo. The other is Jon Snow banging Arya. And then there's Ramsay Snow banging his father. And, like, the ultimate one is, like, the White Walkers just,
I got the Martells.
Terrible things. You got the Martells. Oh no, I'm sorry. The absolute worst one was, Robb Stark wargs into his wolf and then gets jiggy with the other Stark wolf while his sister happens to be warged into it.
That's just, oh my goodness. My God.
Oh yeah, it was Arya. That too.
Oh, of course it is.
It wasn't even Sansa. It was apparently an 11-year-old Arya that was warged into the wolf at the time. And the article ends with the reader makes a sudden realization as well, namely that they were just tricked into reading a story of underage incest by direwolf mind control proxy. Yes,
See,
fan
that's
fiction is a dark and terrible world.
yes. The fan fiction is dark and full of terrible ideas. So leaving seriously from that and going back to I guess there's not too much more. Okay, the King of the North scene. Did John look uncomfortable to you? Because I felt like he did not want that at all.
I was near. He didn't like the entire time he was talking about Sansa. You're the lady of Winterfell. It should be you. And then like you could just see his face. He's like, no, please, please, no,
Please
please, please
stop,
stop.
Liana. No, no, Liana, no, no. And then she says it, and he's like, damn it. And
And
then
then like
Evangelist's like,
so the other one gets up and he's still panicking. Then he looks at Sansa like, please help, and she's smiling and he's like, fuck, oh fuck. They're gonna put a knife in my heart again.
yeah, because he knows like every time I get in a position of power, somebody's going to try and kill me.
That's when he's going to decide to search his ancestry because he knows if, as a Stark in a position of power, he would be screwed.
Yeah.
Time to find out I'm a Targaryen.
Oh man. Let's see. But yeah, I thought that scene was interesting because Sansa seemed to have this like lol patriarchy look on her face
Yeah,
and be okay with it.
that's all I could
Like
think
she
about was
wanted it for some reason.
like at first all I could think of was Jon Snow's inner monologue was please, please no, please stop. Whereas Sansa's like, isn't this a bitch? I'm sitting right here and they're all going for the bastard, and I'm just like, and she's just like hashtag patriarchy.
Sansa's the Anita Sarkeesian of fucking Game of Thrones.
Oh, what annoyed me the most was Cersei taking the Iron Throne.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's actually rules in place for what happens if there's no clear heir to the Iron Throne. Just because she's the Dowager Queen doesn't mean she gets to declare herself queen in her own right. Like, the only reason Robert was able to depose Aerys is because he had a claim to the throne through his bloodline, which he's like a distant relative of Aegon V Targaryen.
Well, not really even that. Robert
No,
taking the throne.
that
Hold
is
on.
how he legitimized his claim. Is the
I
Baratheons
know,
had a
but I'm saying,
smidge of Targaryen in them.
I'm saying like they had to basically go like, hey, look, we found this Targaryen. Really, when you're looking at it, Cersei's claim is essentially, I murdered everybody else.
Has no
Unless you're
claim.
gonna find some upjump third cousin of Robert and Stannis and Renly,
But
I dare you to fuck with me. Like
I
that's
mean,
really
if you let me finish talking, there is actually procedures in place in Westeros for if there's no heir. It happened before. They have a grand council of all. They have a grand council of all the High Lords to elect a new king. It happened when King Jaehaerys' eldest sons died before him, and since there was no heir, Jaehaerys calls a grand council to choose between Aemon's daughter Rhaenys and Baelon's son Viserys, and Rhaenys' son Laenor.
right. However,
And the
the
chick gets
show doesn't
passed over
address that.
because she was a woman. Laenor was passed over because he was a child, and Viserys was chosen as heir to his grandfather, King Jaehaerys. And yeah, I mean, the show doesn't have to directly mention that. It's something that's just in the history of the world. That has to have happened because all of these people get mentioned in the show.
Yeah.
It's happened twice with the Grand Councils. Like, it's just the way it is in Westeros.
Second quiz, Targaryen.
Oh wow!
That doesn't surprise me.
But basically, what it comes down to is basically, like someone else said, she just paid the iron price. Nobody wants to tell her no with Sir Robert Strong standing there.
That's really what it is. Like for the show,
And
and for the show that works.
someone wrote something funny. Excuse me, Cersei, but technically you're just a former queen mother. If we look far enough back through your late husband family tree, I'm sure we can find ... There's just a picture of Robert Strong. Or I mean, I'm sure Robert's grandparents must have had cousins whose children, more Gregor, or whose children would join me in wishing Queen Cersei a long and prosperous reign. It's just a zoom in of Gregor's face.
Yeah.
Let's see what this one. Oh god, now I'm a Tyrell. I went from 2 Lannisters to being a Tyrell, apparently.
I went. Of course, like I said, I've gone Martell and Targaryen. I'm pretty much set to be a conqueror here. I'm cool with that.
I got Lannister, Tyrell.
So, all right. So we've got Cersei on the throne. We've got Jaime coming back to see that, which like everybody. All right. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna call out every single person that has replied to my comments or otherwise mentioned this and try to say I'm wrong, folks. You are not paying attention to this TV show if you don't think Jaime Lannister is going to kill Cersei. I have seen people saying craziness like Arya's going to do it. No, she's not. Oh, John's going to do it. No, he's not. Daenerys is going to do it with the dragons. The dragons are going to eat her. No,
No,
they
she's
aren't.
gonna get choked to death by Jaime Lannister.
Jaime is going to put one golden hand on her throat and then take the other one and start squeezing. Why do I know this? Two major reasons. One, they have treated the Maggie the Frog prophecy as if it's entirely true.
However, the show does conveniently leave out the last part where she dies to her little brother. Well, to
Of
the
course.
little brother.
But otherwise, they have kept the actual like prophecy as it came from the book. They just didn't say the last part. And the reason they didn't say the last part is because
Too much
Jaime's
telegraphing.
because Jaime's clearly going to do it. It's not even going to be Tyrion. Why is it Jaime? That brings us to reason number 2 why it's Jaime. And the more important of the two of them. And that's because Jaime has had to kill the Mad King for wanting to use wildfire on the people. And he just came home to see his girlfriend's sister wife murder an entire house's leadership and basically everybody in the faith with wildfire. You know, the thing he was so afraid of happening that he killed the king he was supposed to guard.
Yeah. Not only did he kill the king, he killed all the leaders of the Pyromancers Guild to stop them from making more as efficiently as they used to be able to. Not only that,
Jaime
but the
Lannister is telegraphed to do this.
Here's the problem with Cersei's entire thing, though. She's always hated Tyrion because of that prophecy, but she doesn't stop to think, yes, you and Jaime are twins, but you were born first, Cersei.
Yeah.
And the prophecy isn't your little brother, it's the little brother.
The little brother. Like, which is why it could have been the Hound. I am mad about the lack of Clegane Bowl, but I think we're still going to get it, just not when we thought.
I honestly didn't want Clegane Bowl to happen as the trial. Like, I think that's going to be something more interesting later on. Because you can't have the Clegane Bowl and the Bastard Bowl in the same season.
Well, what I really want, I know I'm not getting, and apparently, that was that Euron is also Daria.
Apparently, Kara wants us to talk about Cersei's outfit.
I don't think it's the best costume we've seen in the entire series, but it was amazing looking. I actually think her black outfit is cool, but it's not anywhere near as good as what they had Tommen dressed in. Like, I don't know what that chain of fucking badass like medallions should be called. Like, because I think that's far more than a necklace. But that actually looked really cool with the suit that they had him in. Like, if you put somebody in black, I don't even think it's the best black outfit. I think Sansa's is better than Cersei's is. Cersei's looks more crazy, actually. Cersei looks like what you would dress a villain in if you were doing a network version of this show.
No, Cersei looks like a Disney villain. Like, she's literally Maleficent.
Yeah, she looks like Maleficent. Like, Kara's like mad right now. We're saying I know, but real talk, like, I really feel like that was like, hey, we should really dress her differently. She should just go completely nuts with the clothing. No.
I was expecting
Oh,
her to
I
get
keep up
on
with
top
Darth
of
Piercing.
King. Like I was expecting her to get up on top of King's Landing and start singing the song from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, "Wildfire." Except instead of Hellfire, she'd be singing Wildfire.
But yeah, she's gone full Disney villain, which means, like I said, she's gonna die. She's probably not going to die in this season. I expect her reign as queen to basically last all of next season, with Jamie like forced to kill her at the like. You think Jamie's going to have to kill her because she's going to want to use the wildfire. So like, if we get 8 episodes next season, which I'm betting
I,
this
I,
is going to happen.
I think it's going to go one of two ways. Either he's going to kill her because she's going to try and use the rest of the wildfire to stop anyone from taking King's Landing, or next season's just going to begin with Jamie Lannister's choking the life out of her.
No, I think it's going to go whole season because while he knows that like she's now queen and can kind of extrapolate what's happened, you need a couple episodes of her explaining what happened and for them to have some tension. Like he can't just walk away from her or just kill her. He's said publicly that he's in love with her. So he's going to try to understand because Jamie tries to understand. And he is the one that basically started all this by telling her, fuck everyone that isn't us. And she took that a little too literally. So I really feel like it's going to take him a minute. He might go along with it at first, and then towards the end of the season, she's fighting against Danny, and she's like, "I'm not letting those dragons take the city. I'm going to use this wildfire." And Jamie's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh
No, you
no."
see, what's going to happen is Sir Pounce is going to lead a coup against Cersei, for he is the rightful heir of Tommen.
Sir Pounce. Oh man, he just disappeared after that season. I feel bad. So I said I really think that the people that are saying anyone other than Jamie, like except for the Tyrion folks, I get why the Tyrion folks are saying it. I disagree with you, but I can understand your thought process on Tyrion more. The problem is it's too telegraphed even for this show to have Tyrion do it when uh, when Jamie is alive, and here's why. The whole thing with Tyrion is like when it's all said and done, the joy turns to ash in your mouth. That is when the debt will be paid. Well, guess what? What happens when you choke someone to death? They stop losing the ability to breathe. They probably can't taste too much too well. Just saying. And not to mention, Lannisters tend to die either by crossbows or choking. So, uh, just what it is. uh, so let's.
Oh god, they killed Sir Pounce. No, like, apparently Chapman was asked by HBO's Making of Game of Thrones blog to comment again on the cat's whereabouts. He said he probably got a girlfriend and got married and probably got caught up in the Sept blast, unfortunately. So, evidently the cat died off screen.
I don't know why they do stuff like that. Oh, the third. Okay, this is the like the holy trinity of houses. So my 3 houses across these quizzes, because I finally finished the last one, were Martell, Targaryen, and this last one, Tyrell.
I'm Lannister, Tyrell, so 2 out of 3, I guess I'm a Lannister.
Yeah, I am apparently. I'm taking over some stuff, but I don't like. All right, who knows? Whatever it is, I'm taking over. We taking over one city at a time. Anyway, yeah. But apparently, fire, blood, trees, and fucking spears.
This is still just my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. So that okay. Coming out of that with episode 10, I mean, I gotta ask you, seeing that, do you have seeing as how the season went, ending in the way it did? Do you have a good feeling about where they're going to start next season, or a bad feeling, or are you kind of in the middle again? Because I know
I
we
have
talked
no
after last
feeling.
season, and
I
after
have no
last season, we
feeling.
definitely were not happy.
I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I'm not excited. I'm not like disappointed. I'm just neutral.
Yeah. See, I don't have a good feeling about next season. I'm hype off of this. I want to see next season. But knowing that it'll either be shortened or it'll be the last full season, I'm honestly extremely worried because they've killed off a lot of plots that could have made it a 20 episode last two seasons instead of a 15 episode last two seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I I'm guessing that they're gonna have to, like, after everybody's response to Benjen finally re-showing up, they're gonna have to show Gendry at some point here.
Gentry gone for good.
Even if they kill him by doing so, like they did with Rickon, like, they're gonna have to.
I like Ned reappearing in the Bastard Bowl to help John. You know, maybe that's the bittersweet ending they're talking about. Gendry just pops back up and takes over.
I mean, he's the last real Baratheon.
Like, just imagine that. The bittersweet ending is everybody fails, everybody dies, and there's just Gendry left standing on the pile of dead houses.
There's no, it's
And then,
it's
and
it's
then,
Gendry,
one second,
it's Gendry, Podrick, and Lyanna.
and then Littlefinger's just like, oh yeah, by the way, this guy's Robert Baratheon's son, because that's what Ned Stark told me before I had him killed. Dun 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 dun. The end. Did you wreck it?
Oh man, it's perfect. No,
I mean, if you want to see how it ends, just like look up how the War of the Roses ended and figure out, you know, which one of them ended up in charge of England and who that relates to.
well, but that's what I think is what our swerve is going to be. I don't think we're going to get, well, book wise. I know we're not going to get exact War of the Roses ending, but I don't think we're going to get that on the show. I don't think we're going to show that. I think there's going to be a single solidified ruler at the end of this TV show, because they have gone from being very, A Song of Ice and Fire light to being, we are actually just a regular Hollywood made TV show. It used to be, it's not TV, it's HBO. Now it's like, it's not Game of Thrones, it's HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, folks, we have gone through and talked these two episodes for you guys. Come back next week. That'll be the last show like this for the season. Maybe we'll figure out another TV show that we want to, review and whatnot. But we wanted to kind of get the episode wrapped up and really kind of talk it in our usual fashion. I did want to give an update. Obviously, with the Words Into Justice transition, there'll be a lot of different changes. Please make sure that you look for the majority of our stuff coming out through the Ruthless Radio tab on weekendlife.com. That's WKNDLIFE.com. We'll have all of these review episodes up, including the SoundCloud ones, on the main page, on the list pages here in the next couple weeks, so that you can listen to them all. But also, I wanted to talk really quickly because I went back to CK2 for a bit to play some Game of Thrones mod. So, I took the red wines, and I basically I had the Arbor, so the entire island the Arbor's on, right? And I went and conquered the Iron Islands. Mace let me do it. He didn't care. But I declared war on the Iron Islands, and all of the Tyrells came to help me, and we took that bad boy.
I've got a new plan for my Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones mod. I'm going to play as the king beyond the wall and end up becoming the Iron Throne.
That could be an interesting one. I want to take all of the free cities.
I'm going to have the first men reclaim all of Westeros.
Nice.
Go
I
free
said,
folk.
I want to take all the free cities. I want to I don't know where I'm going to start, but I want to take literally every free city.
Either that or I'm going to create a new Valyrian empire. I'll just play as Daenerys again and not bother go back to Westeros.
Just watch Aegon do it.
I'll just conquer I'll just conquer everywhere else.
Yeah. I'm also going to do another run and we might even do a video for this. I think I'm doing another run at Mountain Blade, the Warbands, Game of Thrones mods.
I just reinstalled Mountain Blade. I've got to get that Warband mod.
They've got there's Clash of Kings mod, and then there's the World of Ice and Fire mod. And I don't know how far along World of Ice and Fire mod has gotten since I last played Mountain Blade, but I want to get that back up and running. So we're going to have that kind of stuff too.
It was funny. After watching the Battle of the Bastards, I went and I reinstalled Mountain Blade Warband.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. So that's it, folks. We will talk to you guys next time. Like I said, next time we're just going to talk about some crazy theories that we've run across for what's going to happen next season, as well as what's going to happen with the characters that we know are still alive. A little bit about the stuff that people are dead in the books but alive on the show, or alive in the books and dead on the show, and just kind of give our predictions for next season. So until then, for the Revanchist, for 314 Gaming, for 314 Productions, for WeekendLife.com, Weekends Don't Do It Justice, Revanchist Gaming, and of course for Words Don't Do It Justice, The Wrath of Ruthless, Give No Quarter, and everyone inside our wonderful fan community on Facebook, the Justice League. That's just joined by going to facebook.com/WDDI Justice League. I have been the Ruthless Wonder here with the Revanchist, and we have been talking Game of Thrones. This is our last episode review. See you.
However, hey people, 1 second. I am probably going to be starting Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones Let's Play next week.
Boom. So get ready for that. Also, buy his book, The Eventide Child. You'll find it on Amazon under C.A. Hines. That's The Eventide Child.
It's gotten a steep discount, actually.
It's got a discount. Buy it while it's hot. Yeah. Think of it like the Steam sale of books.
Well, actually, technically just a price drop, period.
Just shh.
It might not be permanent.
It's not going to be permanent. Steam sale. Don't buy now. Fast, run! Anyway, talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Adios.